Have you ever been stuck on a weight loss plateau, trying everything and anything you can to lose that extra weight and reach peak health? We've all been there, but Noom's unlocked the secret to reaching the mountaintop. Go in micro. The Noom GLP-1 microdose program starts at $79 and is delivered to your door in 7 days. Start your microdose GLP-1 journey today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com. Noom. Micro changes, big results. Initial 3-week subscription and 4 weeks of medication from $79 plus tax and $179 per month plus tax for 12-week subscription thereafter. Final pricing depends on program selection. Noom GLP-1 RX program involves healthy diet, exercise, and support. Individual results may vary. Meds and personalization based on clinical need. Not reviewed by FDA for safety, efficacy, or quality. No affiliation with Novo Nordisk Inc., the only U.S. source of FDA-approved semaglutide. Not available in all 50 U.S. states.
Here's how to stay alive longer so you can enjoy Boost Mobile's unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. Do not mistake a wasp nest for a piñata. Stay alive and switch now at Boost Mobile. After 30 gigs, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile unlimited plan.
Disordered eating messaging is all around us. You can hardly leave your house or check your phone without seeing something about dieting, weight loss, or exercise. With all that pressure, it can be hard to recognize habits have become harmful or even an eating disorder. If you're concerned you or a loved one might have an eating disorder, I want to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual, evidence-based eating disorder treatment program that helps patients achieve lasting recovery at home. Every Equip patient is matched with a multidisciplinary care team that includes a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors. And you get a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Equip treats patients of all ages and all eating disorder diagnoses. It's covered by insurance, and there's no wait list. If you think that you or a loved one could be struggling with an eating disorder, don't wait to get help. Visit equip.health to learn more. That's equip.health.
Welcome to the Neurodivergent Experience podcast, a podcast where we share the lived experiences of neurodivergent people to help create a better understanding for our community.
Join us every week as we bring you honest, raw, and inspiring conversations with specialists, advocates, and individuals who know exactly what it's like to live the neurodivergent experience.
I'm Jordan James, a neurodivergent specialist, father of neurodivergent children, husband to a neurodivergent wife, and author of The Autistic Experience, and I'm joined by my best friend.
I'm Simon Scott. I'm an autistic ADHD broadcaster, actor, and advocate. Join us as we journey into unravelling the neurodivergent experience.
Hello. Welcome back, everyone. This is a different type of episode that we're doing today. We're doing an episode on perimenopause. Sorry to get straight into it, but I feel like we need to because it's a very important issue and I don't want to waste time with it. We've got Ashley here, and we do have... Hello, Ashley. And we do have Scotty, but you've got to go, don't you, Scotty?
Yeah, hi everybody. Taking my own advice this week, I am absolutely wiped. I had a really fun social weekend during the Masters and had friends around, but I've also been dealing with a bit of underlying pain. I've had an EDS flare-up in my feet and my legs, and it's also a really important week with the Autistic Culture Podcast Network because all of the amazing creators are delivering their shows. So I'm not going to be present during this episode. It's going to be an Ashley and Jordan special. But I just wanted to let everybody know why I'm not here. And I'm taking the advice that I give on the show, which is rest is survival and it's very important. And you need to know when to take a break. And that's what I'm doing. So have a wonderful episode, everybody, and have a wonderful week. And I will see you in the next one.
Love you, Scotty.
Yeah, love you too, guys.
Scotty.
Have a great episode and looking forward to editing it and listening to it and just being a listener for once. So have a great time, guys.
Thanks.
So,
Well, it's one, yeah.
I was going to say, wow, Scotty is gone for 1 second and now she's taken over. I see. That's right. No, You carry on. I'll just sit back.
There was a moment of quiet, and I didn't know if I should fill it. So you go ahead.
I have to admit, a moment of quiet with me around is rare. Let's say, but there will be lots of moments of quiet because this is about perimenopause, and I am a man, and I'm not going to go through this. I am here, and I wanted to do this episode. One, because I think it's a really, really important issue that is not, it's just not talked enough about. It's just not.
No.
People will talk about a lot of issues. I think perimenopause, especially with neurodivergent women, it just gets sidelined, and a lot of the symptoms end up, being overlooked because they're very similar to ADHD symptoms, and I see my wife Sylvia. She is almost 48. I know she looks like 30, but she is 48, and this is starting with her. She is feeling the effects of it. She has given me permission to talk about her because I wouldn't without that. But she's definitely feeling what she thinks is the symptoms of perimenopause. And I personally wanted to know as much about it so I can be prepared, so I can support her through it, because I read quite a bit, and it's so awful. It's so awful. And then adding neurodivergent sort of not symptoms, but behaviors and struggles and disabilities on top of perimenopause, this is a recipe for disaster. So I just want to be there for her as much as I possibly can. And obviously you are my teacher in all ways of being a better person, and centering myself. And I thought, well, I don't think there is a better person on this planet to guide me into perimenopause with my wife than you.
Thank you. What a lovely thing to say, and what a lovely way to frame this. So I think what you've said is so important here. This isn't just for our women listeners who are either going through it or about to go through it or have just been through it, but also the men supporting these women. Everybody, the children whose mother is going through this. This is a really important episode for everyone to hear, whether you're going through it or supporting someone or have a loved one that is going through it. And like with all things, it shows up in many different shapes and sizes. It shows up in different ages as well. I went through a very early menopause. And so, one size doesn't fit all, as so many things in life are exactly that. So too is menopause. Some people, Jordan, just sail through it, don't have anything happen. I do think that's quite rare, but that does happen. Yeah, and perimenopause, as it sounds, it is before you get to menopause, and it's quite a long journey. Menopause itself is a long journey, and the perimenopause journey is quite a long journey. It can last up to 8 to 10 years. The perimenopause.
I always feel that women have got the short end of the stick when it comes to just their bodies.
Yeah.
Because women just you have to deal with your hormones and then the period all your life. When it comes to and if you decide to have children, it's all on the woman to do everything. The man just plum, and then oh, I'm done now, and then the woman has to go through 9 months of pregnancy, and then you've got all the periods every month, and probably very unsupportive men a lot of the time, and it's just so hard for women. And then women finally get rid of the period. They've got to go through perimenopause and then menopause, and then they're old, or older, and it's did you have a good life? And this is my way of looking at it, is the fact that I love Sylvia so much that I just want her to have as the best life possible.
Yeah.
Even with all these things she has to deal with. So I'm just going to make it as easy as I possibly can for her.
Brilliant, brilliant. And one bit of good news for Sylvia, for me, for everyone out there experiencing menopause or who's going to experience menopause, from what I have read, once you get through menopause, so you've been through perimenopause, you get through menopause, once you're after post-menopause, apparently you feel amazing. You just feel like the best you've ever felt in your life. So we just need to get through the...
You just need to get through it, yeah.
Yeah. And it's such a... I think what would be really helpful is to first explain what's going on with hormones. If I can give a really good metaphor that I learned from a naturopathic doctor about, if you think of that you have a pot of gold each day, okay? And with this pot of gold, you have to make all of your hormones. So that means your stress hormones, insulin, that's a hormone as well, your sex hormones, all of your hormones are made from this pot of gold. And so the first thing that gets access to the pot of gold are the stress hormones. So that's cortisol and adrenaline. So, and then the next thing that has access is the insulin, so our blood sugar. And then once you've got that, well, what's left in the pot of gold to make your sex hormones, your estrogen and progesterone? This is why excess stress levels, and which can lead to craving sugary things, before you know it, your pot of gold is empty because life is just very, very stressful, and nutrition is kind of taking a back seat. We're leading such busy lives. And of course, women who are dealing with perimenopause are also dealing with, still raising children, or maybe they've got, children that are heading off to university. That's quite stressful. Aging parents as well. So you've got this time in your life where things are just really building up. Just in terms of overall life stresses. So that pot of gold is really getting used up. And then, of course, there are other avenues in terms of your sleep starts to get affected. So suddenly everything is really starting to get very, very chaotic. And it just goes to show you, when I started to go through perimenopause, I didn't realize I was in perimenopause, and this is so often the case. When we're neurodivergent, we're already dealing with, a more highly activated nervous system, no matter what our age.
Yeah.
And so if life stresses come on, you think, well, this is just natural life stress, and you don't realize you're actually in perimenopause, which means you need to be looking after your stress levels even more, so that you can make sure that you can try and get your hormones to be as healthy as possible. But so often the symptoms of perimenopause mimic so many other things, like autistic burnout, poor sleep, insomnia, irritability, anxiety, being really emotional. All of these things can also be symptoms for so many other things. And I think that's what was going on with me when everything started to fall apart with my health back in 2019. I was getting diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and fibromyalgia. Then suddenly I find out I'm also in menopause, and I'm like, well, what's causing the insomnia? Is it this? Is it that? And this is what so often happens, because also changes in our hormones can bring about chronic illness as well. So a lot of women who experience chronic illness like fibromyalgia or Ehlers-Danlos, they really start to see the symptoms once they hit this perimenopause stage.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So
it
just sort of, it like you might experience some symptoms of those problems, but then obviously it's heightened when you're going through that stage.
Yes, exactly. Like with the
Wow.
Ehlers-Danlos, I was always having problems with dislocations. But once I started to go through, I was going through menopause once I got diagnosed. That's when things really just started to completely go haywire with my health. And so it was, it shone a light on all of the other things that were happening. But even my doctor couldn't tell me, I was dealing with really bad insomnia. And I was like, well, is this menopause, or is this Ehlers-Danlos, or is this the fibromyalgia? What is it?
I think that's a very good point you're making, is that like I've been watching a lot of videos and I've been reading a lot of things, and so many times doctors, especially male doctors, they don't understand about perimenopause.
Yeah.
They don't recognize the signs of it. And you're like, it's 2026. It's a huge thing. It's not like every now and again a woman's going to go through this. It's not rare. Every woman is going to go through this.
Yes.
Even like it's either going to be really bad or it's going to be really okay. There's so many different levels of it. But essentially, this is a natural thing that every single woman is going to go through. You'd think that doctors would be like understanding and knowledgeable about this, but apparently they are fucking not. And that is, and especially, again, I keep saying, especially when it comes to being neurodivergent,
yeah,
when you just get gaslit the shit out of all the time,
yeah.
Which is why I would say to any single woman listening who is going to go through this or who thinks they're going to go through this, request a female doctor. Do not request a male doctor. I mean, I'm sure there's male doctors that are understanding of this. I'm sure there are. But just to make sure, go and see a female doctor, because I think that is going to be the person who's going to understand the best.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, some people won't have a choice in that matter. And if that's the case, then, at least getting a full hormone blood work done to see where you are. And then look at, before we started recording, Jordan, you were telling me about how you got into your circle of control on your nature walk the other day. This is a really great moment to remind everybody about the circle of control, because you feel so out of control in this time. You feel like so much that used to be in your control is now out of your control. So the best way to start helping yourself is focusing on these things that are in your control. A is stress management. I know that's a big one, that's because we've got stressful lives. The priority needs to be on reducing stress, balancing your blood sugar, improving your sleep, improving your gut health and your nutrition. Now, but all of these are really difficult when you have your energy is just wiped out. So that's also an issue. So this is where, accept any and all offers of help from other people, and definitely just really simplify your life as much as possible. It's the same advice I would give to somebody going through autistic burnout. Is simplify your life as much as possible. Get your blood work done. And I am a big fan of HRT. That's a very personal choice for everyone out there. There are natural supplements that can be very, very helpful, but you definitely need to make sure that you are working with either a naturopathic doctor or a GP, a professional, because it's not a one size fits all when it comes to natural supplements. So you don't want to treat yourself like a guinea pig. You really want to get the right advice there. There are some good helpful supplements, like ashwagandha is is an adaptogen and it helps to reduce the amount of stress hormones. That's generally safe, but again, do check with a medical professional before you start trying any of these things.
Yeah. Right. Let's have a little break, and when we come back, we can go deeper into the specific symptoms and talk about the HRT.
Have you ever been stuck on a weight loss plateau, trying everything and anything you can to lose that extra weight and reach peak health? We've all been there, but Noom's unlocked the secret to reaching the mountaintop. Go in micro. The Noom GLP-1 microdose program starts at $79 and is delivered to your door in 7 days. Start your microdose GLP-1 journey today at Noom.com. That's Noom.com. Noom. Micro changes, big results. Initial 3-week subscription and 4 weeks of medication from $79 plus tax and $179 per month plus tax for 12-week subscription thereafter. Final pricing depends on program selection. Noom GLP-1 RX program involves healthy diet, exercise, and support. Individual results may vary. Meds and personalization based on clinical need. Not reviewed by FDA for safety, efficacy, or quality. No affiliation with Novo Nordisk Inc., the only U.S. source of FDA-approved semaglutide. Not available in all 50 U.S. states.
The longer you stay alive, the longer you can enjoy Boost Mobile's unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. So here are some tips. Do not parallel park on a cliff if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. Do not mistake a wasp nest for a piñata if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with a price that never goes up. Do not microwave a hard-boiled egg if you want to enjoy an unlimited plan with the price that never goes up. Stay alive and enjoy unlimited wireless for $25 a month forever with Boost Mobile. After 30 gigs, customers may experience lower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Hi, everyone. It's Ashley Dupuy, the in-house therapist here on the Neurodivergent Experience and host of Mindful Mondays. And if you've been listening to these podcasts and thinking, gosh, I'd love to explore this work more deeply, I wanted to let you know about a special final opportunity to work with me one-to-one. So I'm gradually bringing my regular one-to-one practice to a close so that I can focus more on group work and recordings and other new exciting projects. But before I do, I'm taking on a small final round of one-to-one clients for a 6-session journey running from May to the end of July. So if this work has been resonating and you feel called to work with me directly, now is your last chance to do so, and I'd love to hear from you. You can register your interest by emailing me at integrativeiom@gmail.com or find out more at integrativeiom.co.uk.
Hello and welcome back to the Neurodivergent Experience. That's the first time that I've ever done that, and it's really, really weird.
But you did it so well. You did it so well.
Really the phone voice. Well, I looking at the research that I did, it said perimenopause, the transition before menopause, often in women in their 40s, involves hormonal fluctuations causing irregular periods, hot flushes, night sweats, brain fog, mood changes, insomnia, and vaginal dryness. Symptoms could last 4 to 10 years. Jesus. And vary, often including weight gain, anxiety, and low libido. Fun. Key perimenopause symptoms to look out for. Period changes, cycles may become irregular, shorter, longer, heavier, or lighter. So it's just good luck with that. My dyslexia is kicking in. Vasomotor. My God, I hate dyslexia. Vasomotor symptoms, hot flushes, sudden heat in face, neck, chest, and light sweats. That sounds delightful, doesn't it? Sleep disruption, insomnia, often caused by night sweats, mood changes, increased irritability, anxiety, mood swings, or depression, cognitive changes, which is brain fog, memory lapses, and reduced concentration, so ADHD. Physical changes, vaginal dryness, discomfort during sex, reduced libido, weight gain, joint pain, skin changes, and headaches. Other symptoms may include fatigue, palpitations, digestive issues, and dry mouth or eyes. This sounds terrible, and I'm trying to be lighthearted because I'm like, my best friend in the whole world is going to go through this. And that scares me for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That scares me for her.
And what seems even more cruel, and this is very anecdotal, so just take this with a grain of salt. From what I have experienced myself and other people, it seems to be, if you are someone that has had difficult periods for most of your life, you will also likely have a difficult menopause.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, but again, that is very anecdotal. So, it won't always be the case. You could have had really easy periods in a difficult menopause, or really bad periods in a really easy one. But, and I think a big one, what can really interfere with knowing whether or not you're in perimenopause is, and this I think was going on for me, is that I was on the pill. I had been on the pill for a very long time, and I really liked being on the pill. I liked what it did for my skin, and it made my periods very regular and very reduced. And then I got to a point where I found out you could, usually with a contraceptive pill, you take a week off, and that causes you to then have a period, and then you start again. But you are, some women out there, and I started to do this, you can get rid of that week off and just take it continually. And so that means you never get a period. And so I thought, well, that sounds great. And I asked my GP if I could do that. And they were like, yeah, go ahead. Again, not realizing I was in perimenopause. And I just thought, you know what, the last thing I need is a period. I'm just going to take this continuously. But that, there's no free lunch, as they say. I think that also was not a good idea for my system. And the continued stress in my life, I didn't realize was perimenopause because I wasn't getting a period. So I didn't have that frame of reference. So just be careful out there. If you're in your 30s and you're experimenting with taking your contraceptive pill and not taking that week off, and you're taking it continuously so you don't have a period. Some people also take an injection, a contraceptive injection, which again, for a lot of people, just completely gets rid of their period. So it's then you don't, because you're right, that is the real classic sign of something is changing in my cycle. But if you don't have a period due to other means, then that's going to be a big one for you to not know what's going on with your natural cycle. So just be aware of that.
Let's talk about management and tips.
Yes.
And you were brushed upon that just before the break. Lifestyle changes, I think, is always the first one to go. But before you have any treatment or anything like that, it's and this is what Sylvia's actively starting now, because just quickly out of the symptoms. Without going into too many details, again, she has given me permission to share this, but I'm not going to share all of it. It's difficult because she does have the brain fog and memory lapses, reduced concentration, because she does have ADHD. But she is on methylphenidate. She is on. She was on 18 milligrams. Then she moved up to 27 milligrams, and now she's thinking maybe she needs to go to 36 milligrams, which is what I'm on, and I'm a big bloke and I'm a lot heavier than she is. 36 for me is perfect, but I think she wants to up the dose to help deal with all of these symptoms, because she's having like double ADHD. So she wants to get like a higher dose to help, because she's finding that even on the methylphenidate, she's still having so many of these symptoms, which, she just got diagnosed with ADHD a few years ago, just to get, and then spent a year trying to get the methylphenidate. And now she got the methylphenidate and she was like, oh my God, this is wonderful. And then a couple of years later, she's like, oh, this isn't working anymore. And it's like, oh, for God's sake.
It's so frustrating.
Oh, it is. I'm trying to be as helpful as possible.
Yes.
But it's hard. It's hard because I'm like, do you remember that thing? And she's like, what thing? And I'm like, the thing that I told you like 10 seconds ago. And she's like, I don't, what? Who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So also the irritability, when she's irritable.
Yes.
I can't pronounce that word. Irritability. That's I've made up that word. Yeah, that's hard for me to deal with.
Yeah.
Because normally Sylvia is like the calm in my storm, and I've now got to be the calm for her storm. And that's something that, it's a shift in our relationship, and it's something that I'm working on, which is great that I can find my center of control, because it's really important to find the circle of my control, not just because of me, but because everyone else who's in my vicinity, and especially for Sylvia. So the calmer I am, the more chilled out I am, the better it is for her. So when she does, snap at me, which she has been, I very calmly say, babe, you don't need to say it like that. And she'll be like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. I said, no, you do not need to apologize. I'm just pointing it out, just to make you aware of it. Now, I don't know if that is the right thing, but at the same time, I'm not going to get annoyed at her. But at the same time, it's I'm like, oh, you don't need to do that. She's like, and I'm like, what? So yeah, I mean that's definitely something I've got to deal with. But I know it's a lot worse for her.
Well, it's so difficult for both of you. I was watching a relationship expert. I think her name is Esther Perez, and it was just a clip, and it was really quite interesting. She said, I've been married to 3 different people, but I've only been married to one person. And she'd been married for, like 35 years. And so what she meant was, she's been, that her husband has changed over the years, just as she has changed. And we do change, but it feels very, when you're going through it yourself, you're like, who is this person? I don't even know who this person is, meaning your own self. So of course, that your partner is also going to feel like, well, who is this person? Not every time, but in moments, here and there. And so what's really important is recognizing that this is a moment in time where things aren't the status quo. And it's so brilliant that the two of you have such a wonderful connection. And it's not easy for couples going through this, because of the exact thing that you've just mentioned. What really scared me one day, because I don't normally have a problem with my temper. I'm not normally, I get quite emotional very easily my whole life, but I've never been a really angry person. I will never forget, this was right before I was about to get diagnosed with everything. I was just, I was driving to a massage. Oh, the irony. I was on my way driving to a massage to relax. I'm going to relax, damn it. And I was behind somebody who's going slow. Okay, this is not the end of the world. I don't even think I was running late, but I got behind somebody who was going slow, and Jordan, when I tell you, I was this close to intentionally just running into the back of this person. I was so ready to just.
Yep, I know that feeling.
That scared the crap out of me. I've never had that before, and I was like, "Who is this person?" So the hormones are running the show. They really are running the show. And when we have a reduction in estrogen and an increase in our stress hormones, you will be acting like a very different person, and that will be very uncomfortable for your loved ones. But we're all in this together, and like with any difficult time and any relationship, communication is everything. It's everything. So it's really wonderful, the example that you gave of communicating with Sylvia, of like, well, and trying to do it in as compassionate a way as you can, as grounded as possible, trying to be as present as possible, and trying to communicate. A really great question to ask somebody who's in a really moment is, what do you need right now? And a lot of times they won't even be able to answer it. But just having that, it makes you stop. It makes you try and think, okay, what do I need right now? And it makes you feel supported. So even if nothing comes of that question, even because a lot of times it will be, I don't know what I need. But just asking the question is really, really good. It shows that you care. It shows that you're ready to take whatever reply might come your way. And just keeping that communication going as often as possible. To the women who are going through this, try and explain as well as you can to your partner about how you're feeling and what would help, just certain day-to-day things. Try and come to brainstorm together about how you can make amendments to your life to make this time a bit easier. And it's going to look different for every situation. But yeah, I think communication and simplification are the two biggest things you could do, because the simpler your life is, the less stressful it's going to be.
Yeah, because newsflash, everyone, a partnership means a partnership. But you have to be partners. You have to meet 50-50 and that whole thing, when you get married, or even if you don't get married, but the whole marriage thing of through sickness and in health, that's not just the woman looking after the man, as a lot of men seem to think that I'm bad, so you need to wipe my nose because it says so. It's a 50-50 thing, people. And when a woman is going through perimenopause, or even just having her period, it is not a 50-50 thing. It is an 80-20 in favor of the woman. You must be 80% looking after her. She's 20%, you exist and I will acknowledge you. But that is literally how it has to be, because they're the ones that are going through it. And I've got a lot of health issues and things like that. And Sylvie does help me. But I do feel like when men have health issues, they just expect everyone to drop everything and be like, oh, I hope you're okay. And then when a woman is on a period every single month, a man's like, oh, does that mean we can't have sex? And I'm like, no, that means that she's she's losing a lot of blood, dude. There's a lot of she's going to be very tired, very irritable, in a lot of pain, having cramps. Oh my God, if you are a man and you have a partner, or if you intend on having a partner, find out about periods, find out about perimenopause, find out about these things and try and see it from their perspective. It's called empathy. Apparently we're not really good at it, but I'm freaking trying. But yeah, oh my God, that is it's the minimum that you should do as a partner, is just understand the fact that women go through this terrible thing, and it's not about you, sir. It's about her. And it needs to just be about her for that period of time. Literally, period. But yeah, let's have a quick break and then we'll come back and we will get on to management and tips, because we ADHD'd the hell out of that.
Beck. You got to ride. The Ride Lonesome Tour. Get tickets Friday at livenation.com. The incomparable Beck live.
Unlock the savings at Boost Mobile and save up to $600 a year. I've been scouting these big carriers for a minute now, and I've seen them pull the same play 1,000 times. They promise you the world, then hit you with a price hike right when the game gets tight. But Boost Mobile, their $25 a month unlimited wireless plan is the most consistent player on the floor. No contracts, no price hikes. Unlock the savings today at boostmobile.com/unlock. Based on average annual single line payment of AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile customers compared to 12 months of the Boost Mobile unlimited wireless plan as of January 2026. For full offer details, visit boostmobile.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Neurodivergent Experience. We are talking about perimenopause with Ashley.
Hello.
So, management and tips. So it's like lifestyle. In my notes, I've got regular exercise, healthy diet, stress reduction, which again, men, you help with that. Example, yoga, meditation. Obviously, that's the key.
Yes.
Treatments, you can move on to hormone replacement therapy, HRT, which Sylvia is looking into. She's doing her research and she's a little bit worried about it, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. And that is mostly for severe symptoms. That's like when it really hits its peak. Use apps or calendars to track irregular bleeding as advised by the Menopause Society. See, that's really interesting because this was Sylvia's first sign of it, was suddenly she was just getting no periods. Now I've been fixed, I should have been. Two kids was enough. I don't think anyone needs any more of my DNA anywhere. But yeah, I think I was 26 when I had a vasectomy. Because again, that was the discussion: was does Sylvia have her tubes tied and have serious surgery, or do I get my nuts snapped? And I went, obviously, I do, because why would I make her go through that?
Aww,
it's ridiculous.
That's very kind of you.
I don't even think it is. I don't even think. I don't look at it like that. I look at it like it's like logical.
Yeah.
So I don't think of it as being kind. I think that that is what makes sense. My one's like super easy. Her one's super hard. Why would I men that were like, yeah, I don't want to. I was like, oh, shut up. But anyway, so I did that. And so when Sylvia's missing a period, we weren't like, oh my God, are you pregnant? Because, that was never on the table, as it were.
Yeah.
So obviously she was looking into it, and then she had no period for ages, and then suddenly she just got a period, and it lasted for so long.
Yeah.
And that was awful for her. She was so tired all the time. But yeah, that was the first sign. So what was the first sign for you?
Well, it's a tough one again, because I think my insomnia started really, looking back at it now that I know that I think I started perimenopause in my early 30s, basically. And that's when the insomnia came in. And because I was, I had heard about perimenopause at that point, but it was low on the list of anything on my radar, really. And so I just didn't know why I wasn't sleeping, and that led to a lot more stress. Again, because I was on the pill, my periods weren't giving me the clue, because the pill keeps your periods regular. And then I was at a point where I was taking it continuously, so I didn't get a period, but that was down to the pill. So I didn't. So there's all sorts of different, a lot of people get acne. That was another one for me. I never had acne as a teenager. I thankfully didn't have to go through that. But suddenly I was like, oh my God, it wasn't just like a couple of pimples. It was like boils.
Also had that. Because she's a skin specialist. That was what her training was in beauty before she became a dental nurse. And all of a sudden she was just getting these spots and rashes and stuff. And yeah, she was like, whoa, no, I've never been spotty before.
Yeah, all of these things, and just a real sort of, all of my my nervous system was absolutely shot from not sleeping. And at this point, I was so tired from not sleeping that I wasn't eating well either. So this is what's so difficult, is people know the right things they should be doing. They know they need to reduce their stress levels and eat better and exercise more, but there's zero energy to do it.
And chocolate tastes so good. It tastes so good.
I know. And a little bit of dark chocolate is actually good for us. So you can switch to dark chocolate and have a little bit of that, and then you can get some of the health benefits.
When I'm eating like 3 tons of dark chocolate, and Sylvia's like, "What's that?" I was like, "Ashley told me to." She said a little bit, and in my brain, that's at least a kilo.
Well, what's so good about the advice of what to do is that it really is basically the same advice that I would give to anybody going through autistic burnout or any sort of a nervous system dysregulation or anxiety, stress, is focus on learn all about your nervous system, learn all about how to rest your nervous system properly, yoga nidra, meditation, and prioritize regulation. That will start to help make your sleep better, which will help make it easier to make better choices with your food. I mean, this anger that comes from these hormonal changes, that puts us right in that fear center of our brain. Our threat detection goes up. We're not making really the best choices for ourselves. So my best advice is focus on regulating your nervous system. That will help everything. It will help everything.
What? You were like, there's another gap, and then you made the gap, and then I'm supposed to fill it. I'm like, oh dear, this is where Scotty comes in with like sensible questions. But he did send me a list of questions, and this is actually a really, really interesting one. And I think I'm just going to do this top one. It's just a word that he's used in this question that I thought was really interesting. Is that a lot of women obviously are masking. Neurodivergent women in general are very, very masking, especially undiagnosed neurodivergent women who are going to go through this. Is it possible that they will just not, that they'll be going through this and they'll dismiss it because they're just like, oh, no, it's, they're almost gaslight themselves into going, oh, I can't be going through this, or this must be something else. And also, and this, like you said, in your 30s, you're not even thinking about perimenopause. This is why I think we need more about it. People need to know more about it.
Yes.
But, I think that, when women mask their way through life, especially, like I said, with neurodivergent women, would you say they would have a tendency to mask their own symptoms?
Absolutely. And, I was just talking about that on my episode of Mindful Mondays this week, episode 30, where I talk from mask to map, where, I just thought when everything was falling apart for me, I just thought, oh, it's my own fault. I just need to try harder. I need to try harder. So you do end up gaslighting yourself, the masking. But what's interesting, one thing that I did start to notice when everything was really sort of, everything was kind of falling apart. And I do think the menopause set all of that off. I found it much more difficult to be able to mask socially. And so I started to retreat more, because if I was out in a social setting, I suddenly, I wasn't able to mask like I had been able to before. And that left me feeling very vulnerable, because this was at a point in my life where I didn't know about masking. I didn't know what was happening. Suddenly the mask was just gone, and I just felt so vulnerable. And so, I've always had social anxiety, but it just went through the roof. And so I found myself retreating a lot more. So so you might find yourself in your 30s or 40s, when perimenopause starts to kick in, you might start to mask it and just think, well, this is just stress. This is just, my ADHD is just kicking up a notch, and you dismiss it. But then you find yourself, oh crap, I can't even find my mask. I mean, I see this all the time with clients the amount of clients, women in their, in their 40s, they come to me and they're like, Ashley, I used to be able to handle all of these things. This is happening, that's happening, but I used to be able to handle these things. Why can't I handle them now? That's a big, big sign when you're suddenly not able to handle things in life that you were able to handle before.
Yeah.
That's a really big sign that perimenopause has arrived.
So do you, because obviously, I'm not a doctor or anything, but do you know like what causes, like if it happens earlier, like is it just like a lottery that like it just happens to you, or is there like anything that you, if you're in your 20s or early 30s and you haven't gone through this, is to prolong it, because I think this is what women need to know. This is coming, whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. And people take preventative measures for lots of things of future problems. We'll try and eat better because we may get cancer, or we may get diabetes, or we may have a stroke, or we may get Alzheimer's. And, we can actively, try our best in our lives to avoid those things. But essentially, perimenopause is going to happen. But can you do anything to prolong it if you're not already going through it? Or is it just going to happen to you, whatever?
That's a really good question. And I will give you my thoughts on this from what I have spoken to doctors and naturopathic doctors. It all goes back to stress. Think about that pot of gold that you get every single day. And if you are just using all of that pot of gold for cortisol and adrenaline and insulin, if your diet is poor and your stress levels are high, then that will very likely, I don't want to say this definitively because I'm not a doctor, but I think you could increase your chances of getting it sooner. Yes. Yeah. And also you have to also balance out if you are on birth control pills, because I think also what likely contributed to me, and I had a naturopathic doctor say this to me, so I don't know whether or not this is true, but I started on the pill quite young, and because I liked being on it, I never took a break. I was on it for decades. And the amount of estrogen and progesterone that they pump into you is way more than you need. So your body's just like, oh, well, we don't need to produce this anymore. So it basically just kind of shut things down, because it's like, well, we're getting this every day. We don't need to produce it ourselves.
Mm.
And so then coming off the pill, then it was just like, woof. So yes, I think just recognize that you may want to take breaks from the contraceptive pill, take a 5-year break if you're in your mid-20s or early 30s and see what your cycle is like. But yeah, I think stress levels, nutrition, exercise, sleep, if you prioritize these in your life, I mean, everybody should be prioritizing these in their life.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But these things will absolutely help to serve you in this regard, in terms of reducing your symptoms of perimenopause and maybe, hopefully, holding it off as long as you can.
Mm. Right. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. That has been really, really helpful for me. I'm just gonna be as best a friend as I possibly can to Sylvia as she goes through this, and just fingers crossed, it's not going to be like the worst thing she's gone through. She's she seems to be doing all right at the moment. But yeah. One last question. Did you go through HRT?
Yes, I'm on HRT. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Are you on it now?
I'm on it now,
right,
as we speak.
As we speak. She's got all,
Yes.
she's like on it. She's plugging herself in.
It's
all the
been
HR
wonderful. And yes, and one thing I forgot to add, the emotional aspect of everything landing for a woman is going to be different for every woman too. It didn't really bother me, this whole I'm no longer a woman, fully a woman sort of thing. But it can really, really impact your sense of self for a woman. You know, I am a woman, and it's a sort of an end of an era, you know. Oh gosh, I can't have kids anymore, you know. And again, of course, it's not like you and Sylvia would want to have, you know, and as you said, you've already had your vasectomy, but you know, just knowing that possibility has now gone can be quite a mental load to land.
Absolutely, especially for women who haven't had kids. And
yes.
And you know, and like you said, this can happen in your 30s. Like and then obviously a lot of women, a lot of people, they'll just wait, and they'll get into their 30s, and they'll be like, okay, we're going to start having kids now, and then suddenly perimenopause hits, and it's like, oh my god. So my heart just goes out to women in general for everything they have to put up with.
Yeah.
But this does sound scary. So hopefully this episode has helped some people, and you know, just know this is going to happen. And if you're a man, be kind, and if you're a woman, be patient, because men are useless most of the time. And if they're good, that's just because they're trying. We are trying our best. But yeah, so HRT, like, is that like an injection? Like, exactly what is it? We're gonna finish the episode, but I'm really curious. What exactly is HRT?
Okay, so there's this is really important to cover. I'm glad we're talking about this. So we've got estrogen, we've got progesterone, and we've got testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got those three things. For women who are still having a period, or at least sporadic periods, not full-on menopause, they want you to take estrogen every day and progesterone every 2 weeks to kind of mimic what a normal cycle is.
Is that in tablets?
So for me, it's different for everyone. For estrogen, you can get a patch. I don't do well with patches. They don't stick to my skin, so I do a gel.
Okay.
But I think you can also take it in pill form, the estrogen. Okay. So there's 3 different ways. For the progesterone, I think it's always a pill. I take a pill. And by the way, they've changed the formula of these HRTs. They're so different now to what they were even 20 years ago. There was a much higher risk of cancer for the types of HRT that were about 20 years ago. These days, the risks, the benefits far outweigh the risks. So things are much more bioavailable, which is, so anybody out there who's a bit sort of like, oh, I don't want to get cancer, really speak to your doctor about this, because things have changed massively in that thing.
I couldn't agree more, because that was Sylvia's first thing was, oh, I don't want to increase the risk of cancer. And I was like, right, you need to look at that research again, because the research I looked at said that was very old research.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly biased research.
Yes.
And it wasn't accurate, because basically they said, oh, there's like this really minimum chance it might give you cancer. And then all these articles came out of, it will give you cancer.
Yeah.
So it was literally like, oh, you might, there's a sprinkle of a chance. And they were saying, oh, in fact, it's going to be just like a whole rainstorm. So yeah, do your research, you know, especially modern research, and don't like watch a YouTube and be like, oh, that's definitely read articles and read actual research if you can.
Yes.
But like you said, Ashley, talk to your doctor.
And testosterone is a really interesting one. I'm not on it, but I'm looking to get on it, because this is also really helpful for women. It can be really helpful for libido. Mm-hmm. It can also be really helpful for pain and building muscle. because our ability to build muscle reduces quite a bit as we get older for everyone. But, we really want, so I'm looking into possibly doing some testosterone replacement therapy as well. So I'll have the whole trifecta going on. So yeah, and for those loved ones who are supporting someone going through perimenopause, even though we kind of already mentioned this, I think it's important because we only just a few minutes ago mentioned about this loss of sense of self. Just realize that that's going on too. It's not just the stress and the symptoms. There's this overall umbrella of who am I? You're kind of grieving as you're moving into this new stage in your life. So just be super patient, as Jordan was saying, and lots of communication. Sometimes they may want to talk about it. Sometimes they may not. It's going to be a bit of a movable feast. Every day is going to be a new adventure. But if you're in it together and just, keep that communication going.
Yeah, because here's another news flash, men who are listening. Just because a woman comes to you with a problem doesn't mean you have to give her a solution. Sometimes they just want to talk about it and they want someone to listen. Yeah. So keep your mouth shut and don't mansplain.
Yes.
And do this, because this is what I've learnt to do, is you say, would you like some advice, or would you like me to help, or how can I help? Yeah. And they will probably turn around and go, oh, no. I just wanted to vent. And you go, oh, because that is you helping. That is you supporting. It's just existing.
Yes.
Right? It's just, look, you are a soundboard sometimes, right? Just stand there and just listen and just say, oh.
Well, we all know how important it is to feel heard and acknowledged, don't we? So yes, that's such a great thing to hit home there. And that is, because some people might be feeling, well, I'm not doing anything if I'm just listening. That's huge. If you are really, really listening and you are acknowledging and holding space and all those wonderful phrases, that is doing something, definitely.
Yeah, don't pretend to listen while you're doing something else. Actually listen. Don't just go, yes, dear, whatever you say. Because don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Actually listen and actually care. That should be without saying, but no. Well, I'm fresh out of spoons, and I'm gonna go and hug my wife and make sure she's okay. That's what I'm gonna go and do.
Wonderful.
And feed her chocolate, dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. Yes, yeah. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for having me on. This was such an important discussion to have today.
You are just amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. And we're going to see you again very, very soon. Where we're going to talk about how medical people, doctors and so on and so forth, don't really take us very seriously. So that's one to tune in for.
Absolutely.
Probably next month.
Yeah.
Right. We'll just finish the episode, and Scotty usually says stuff about, don't forget Mindful Mondays on Monday. I don't know who does that. Some lady.
some crazy lady.
If you're crazy, I'm flipping insane. But some Ashley lady does an amazing Mindful Monday. So tune in for that. We're not going to have a hot topic again this week. I'm really, really sorry, everyone. But we will be back for hot topics as soon as Scotty has got his spoons back. So, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Nightly bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Neurodivergent Experience. We hope today's episode sparked something for you, whether it's a new idea, a bit of validation, or just a moment of connection. Remember, new episodes are every week, so be sure to join us for the next one for more conversations and insights into the neurodivergent experience. If you've enjoyed this podcast, help us grow. You can do that by rating and reviewing this show. Your support makes a huge difference in helping us reach more people who could benefit from these conversations. You can connect with us on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just search for the Neurodivergent Experience. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, take care of yourself. You're not alone in this journey.
Unlock the savings at Boost Mobile and save up to $600 a year. I've been scouting these big carriers for a minute now, and I've seen them pull the same play 1,000 times. They promise you the world, then hit you with a price hike right when the game gets tight. But Boost Mobile, their $25 a month unlimited wireless plan is the most consistent player on the floor. No contracts, no price hikes. Unlock the savings today at boostmobile.com/unlock. Based on average annual single line payment of AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile customers compared to 12 months of the Boost Mobile unlimited wireless plan as of January 2026. For full offer details, visit boostmobile.com.
When I found out I was going to be a parent, I immediately felt a lot of anxiety and worry. So I went on to BetterHelp to try to look for a therapist to help me with that.
My relationship with my family and with my boyfriend and with myself were suffering. I really needed help.
I was ruminating a lot. Really getting those thoughts out to a therapist and getting feedback was just life-changing.
Discover what BetterHelp Online Therapy can do for you. Visit BetterHelp.com today.
That's the sound of fried chicken with a spicy history. Thornton Prince was a ladies' man. To get revenge, his girlfriend hid spices in his fried chicken. He loved it so much, he opened Prince's Hot Chicken.
Hot chicken in the window?
This is one of many sounds in Tennessee with a story to tell. To hear them in person, plan your trip at tnvacation.com. Tennessee sounds perfect.